Behind the glitter of world concerts, loyalty is tested as exhaustion, secrets, and love collide in a cinematic, emotional story. "I can't breathe," Rose's voice broke through the pounding music, as the stage lights blinded her and the world began to spin too fast. Her body trembled beneath the glittering costume soaked with sweat, her chest rising and falling unevenly, while the roar of thousands of voices blurred into a distant, terrifying hum. In front of her, the giant screen still displayed her professional smile, the most beautiful lie she had ever mastered. The music hadn't stopped, the band kept playing, and time demanded she stay standing, even as her legs threatened to give way. A hand closed firmly around her wrist. Warm, real, Bruno. "I'm here," he whispered, almost lost beneath the thunder of the crowd, yet strong enough to keep Rose from collapsing. "Look at me, not the lights." Rose swallowed hard, forcing her eyes to focus on the face she knew better than anyone else. Bruno wasn't smiling the way he did for the cameras. His jaw was tight, his eyes dark with worry he barely concealed. The man who always looked effortless on stage was now completely alert, like someone ready to fight the world if he had to. Minutes earlier, they had stood on opposite sides of the biggest stage of Rose's career. Her fourth world tour, a relentless schedule with no pauses, city after city blending into a hazy dream. Everyone saw success. No one saw the sleepless nights, the aching joints, or the quiet fear that one day she would fail in front of everyone. Bruno saw everything. He always recognized the signs. The way Rose's breathing grew too fast before the final chorus, her small habit of rubbing her thumb against her palm when anxiety crept in, the empty flicker in her eyes that appeared for a split second before her stage smile returned. He never forced her to stop, but he was always there, with warm water, stupid jokes, or simply a steady presence. That night's concert was the breaking point. Backstage, the smell of metal, hot cables, and perfume blended into a dizzying haze. Rose sat on the floor, her back against the cold wall, her costume still sparkling as if mocking her condition. Bruno knelt in front of her, offering a bottle of water with a hand that trembled slightly. "I should be stronger than this," Rose said softly, guilt weighing down her voice. "They came to see me. I can't fall apart." Bruno shook his head, his curls bouncing faintly. "You're not a machine. You're human, and humans are allowed to be tired." The words were simple, yet they hit Rose harder than any applause ever had. For years, she had built her identity on resilience. Admitting exhaustion felt like failure. That night marked the beginning of a difficult journey. The days that followed were filled with conflicts unseen by cameras. Managers demanded the schedule continue, contracts bound her like invisible chains, and the media began speculating about backstage drama. Rose wrestled with old trauma, memories of her first failed concert, the ridicule that once nearly ended her dreams. Every step onto the stage reawakened those buried fears. Bruno carried his own fears in silence. He was afraid that one day Rose would choose the stage over everything else, even over him. He was afraid of becoming just another spectator, cheering from the sidelines, unable to stop the slow destruction of the woman he loved. Yet he stayed quiet, because loving Rose meant respecting her choices, even when they hurt. As cities changed in rapid succession, they learned a new language of love. No longer about glamour or romantic songs, but about sitting quietly in dark hotel rooms, about gentle massages on tense shoulders, about saying, "enough," when the world demanded more. The conflict reached its peak when Rose finally decided to cancel a concert, a choice that shook her team and ignited public outrage. The media called her weak. Sponsors threatened to pull out. Rose nearly gave up entirely, convinced her dream had collapsed because of her own decision. Bruno stood before her that night, without a stage, without lights. "If the world leaves you because you chose your life," he said calmly, "then let me be the one who stays." Those words didn't fix everything, but they were enough to help Rose survive one more day, and then the next. Time passed. The wounds didn't vanish overnight, but Rose learned to listen to them. She returned to the stage in a new way, more honest, more fragile, and therefore stronger. The audience felt the difference. Her music sounded deeper, more real. At the final concert of the tour, Rose stood at the center of the stage, gazing at the sea of cheering faces. She spotted Bruno at the side of the stage, not trying to steal attention, just offering a small smile filled with pride. Rose knew she could still get tired. The world would continue to demand more. Fear might never completely disappear. The door of the hotel suite slammed shut behind them, the echo vibrating through the quiet room like a gunshot, and Rose spun around, her eyes blazing. "Do you have any idea what you just did out there?" she snapped, her voice still hoarse from the stage but sharp enough to cut. Bruno didn't answer immediately. He dropped his jacket onto the chair, ran a hand through his hair, and finally met her gaze. "I stopped you from destroying yourself," he said, low and controlled. "Someone had to." Rose laughed, a brittle, humorless sound. "By arguing with the tour manager in front of half the crew, by making it look like I can't handle my own career." "I don't care how it looks," Bruno shot back, stepping closer. "I care about you shaking so hard backstage you couldn't even hold the mic." Silence stretched between them, thick and electric. The city lights spilled through the window, painting Rose's face in gold and shadow. Her anger wavered, cracking to reveal something raw underneath. "You think I don't know that?" she whispered. "Every time I walk on stage, I'm terrified. And the only thing worse than that fear is knowing everyone is watching, waiting for me to fail." Bruno's jaw tightened. "Then why do you keep pretending you're fine?" "Because if I stop," Rose said, her voice rising, "everything stops. The tour, the people who depend on me, the version of myself I've spent my whole life building." He took another step closer, close enough that she could feel his breath. "And where do I fit into that version?" he asked quietly. "Am I just another thing you push aside when it gets too heavy?" That hit harder than any accusation. Rose turned away, pressing her palms against the cool glass of the window. The city below looked unreal, distant, like a life she no longer recognized. "I never asked you to carry this with me," she said. Bruno's voice softened, but the tension didn't fade. "No, but I chose to, and I'm not going to stand there smiling while you burn." She turned back, eyes shining, defiant and vulnerable all at once. "You don't get to decide when I'm done." "And you don't get to pretend you're invincible," he replied. "Not with me." The air between them felt charged, every word pulling them closer and pushing them apart at the same time. Rose's hands curled into fists, then relaxed. Her voice dropped to a near whisper. "I'm scared, Bruno. Scared that if I slow down, they'll forget me. Scared that if I stop, I won't know who I am anymore." He reached out, hesitated, then gently took her hands. "I'm scared too," he admitted. "Scared that one day I'll look at you and realize the stage took everything, including us." Rose's breath hitched. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The argument drained away, leaving only the truth they'd both been avoiding. Outside, phones buzzed with breaking news, headlines already forming about tension, about rumors, about a crack in the perfect image they'd sold to the world. Inside the room, none of that mattered. "I don't want to lose you," Rose said finally. "Then don't," Bruno replied. "Let me in, even when it's messy." She nodded slowly, leaning her forehead against his chest, the fight leaving her body in a quiet shudder. His arms wrapped around her, firm and grounding, as if anchoring her to something real. They stood there for a long time, breathing together, the noise of the world kept at bay. The problems weren't solved. The tour would continue. The pressure would return. But something had shifted, an unspoken agreement that they would stop pretending, at least with each other. When Rose finally pulled back, her eyes were red but steady. "Tomorrow," she said softly, "we do this my way, with boundaries, with honesty." Bruno smiled, not the stage smile, but the one only she ever saw. "Tomorrow," he agreed. Morning arrived without mercy. Rose woke to the sharp vibration of her phone rattling against the nightstand, the sound slicing through the fragile calm she had barely managed to find. She didn't need to look at the screen to know what it was. The weight in her chest already told her. Bruno was awake too. He sat on the edge of the bed, scrolling silently, his shoulders tense in a way Rose recognized instantly. The room smelled faintly of cold coffee and the city after rain, metallic and restless. "Say it," Rose murmured. "How bad is it?" Bruno exhaled slowly. "They're calling it a meltdown, saying you're unstable, saying I'm interfering with your career." Rose pushed herself upright, the sheet sliding down her arms. "Interfering," she repeated, disbelief flickering into anger. "You mean caring." "They don't see the difference," he said. "They never do." She grabbed her phone and the headlines flooded in, brutal and fast. Videos clipped out of context. Photos of Bruno arguing backstage. Anonymous sources whispering about control, about tension, about cracks in the fantasy. Her hands began to shake. "They're rewriting my life," she said, voice tight. "They're turning me into a headline instead of a person." Bruno stood, packing once, then stopping in front of her. "Look at me," he said firmly. She didn't want to, but she did. "This is exactly what I meant," he continued. "This machine feeds on silence and smiles. The moment you show weakness, it tears you apart." "So what?" Rose shot back. "I smile and let them. I swallow it until there's nothing left of me." "I'm not saying that," Bruno replied, frustration creeping in. "I'm saying we have to be smart." Rose stood too now, barefoot on the cold floor, adrenaline burning through her exhaustion. "Smart sounds a lot like quiet," she said, "and I've been quiet my whole life." Bruno's voice rose despite himself, "And being loud could cost you everything." The words hung there, sharp and dangerous. Rose stared at him, hurt flashing across her face. "Everything?" she asked softly. "Is that what you think this is, a calculation?" Bruno froze. "That's not." "No," she interrupted. "Say it. If I speak, if I stop pretending, I lose everything. That's what you're saying." He ran a hand over his face, torn. "I'm saying the world isn't fair to women who fall apart in public." Silence fell, heavier than before. Rose laughed again, but this time there was no humor at all. "So the solution is for me to hold myself together until I break in private." Bruno stepped closer, his voice dropping. "The solution is that you don't have to face this alone." "But you're afraid," she said, eyes locked on his. "Afraid I'll ruin something you think needs protecting." That accusation landed hard. "I'm afraid of losing you," he admitted, raw now. "I'm afraid you'll wake up one day and realize I was just another weight." Rose's expression softened, then hardened again, emotions colliding inside her. "I don't need protection," she said. "I need trust." Before he could respond, a knock thundered on the door. They both turned. The tour manager's voice came through, tight and urgent. "We need to talk, now." The meeting that followed was explosive. Voices rose, accusations flew. Contracts were shoved across tables like weapons. Rose sat there, heart pounding, listening to people debate her limits as if she weren't in the room. When she finally stood, the room fell silent. "I'm not canceling my voice to save your image," she said, every word deliberate. "If this tour continues, it continues on human terms." The manager scoffed. "And if sponsors pull out?" "Then they pull out," Rose replied. "I won't." Bruno watched her, something fierce and proud burning in his chest, even as fear twisted alongside it. Later, alone again, the adrenaline faded, leaving them both exposed. "You were incredible," Bruno said quietly. Rose leaned against the counter, eyes closed. "I was terrified." "You still did it." She opened her eyes and looked at him, really looked at him. "Are you with me?" she asked. "Even if this gets uglier, even if it costs more than we expect." Bruno didn't answer right away. His silence scared her more than any headline. Then he stepped forward, taking her face in his hands, steady and sure. "I'm not here for the easy version of you," he said. "I'm here for the real one, even when it scares me." Rose's breath caught. The tension between them didn't disappear, but it transformed, turning into something fierce and unbreakable. Outside, the world continued to speculate, to judge, to tear at their story. Inside that room, for the first time, Rose felt like she wasn't performing. She was choosing. The stage lights came on without warning, flooding the rehearsal hall in harsh white brilliance, and Rose flinched as if she'd been struck. "Again," the sound director called, impatience thick in his voice. Rose tightened her grip on the microphone. Her palms were damp, her pulse hammering in her ears. The room was empty of fans, yet the pressure felt worse than any sold-out arena. This was where mistakes echoed louder. This was where control slipped. Bruno stood near the back wall, arms crossed, watching her with an intensity that made her chest ache. He hadn't slept much. Neither had she. The tension between them had followed them into this room like a shadow that refused to fade. The music started. Rose sang. Her voice was strong, but something fractured underneath it, a hairline crack only those closest to her could hear. Bruno heard it. He stepped forward without thinking. "Stop," he said. The band froze. The director spun around. "Excuse me." Rose lowered the mic slowly, eyes flashing. "I didn't ask for commentary." Bruno didn't look away from her. "You're pushing, you're forcing it." Her jaw tightened. "I'm doing my job." "No," he replied. "You're punishing yourself." The room went silent, the air thick with discomfort. Crew members exchanged glances, pretending not to listen while catching every word. Rose walked toward him, each step sharp with anger. "You don't get to do this here," she hissed. "Not in front of them." "And when exactly am I allowed to say something?" Bruno shot back. "When you collapse again." "That was one time," she snapped. "One time too many." Her eyes burned. "You think I don't feel it? You think I don't hear my own voice breaking?" "Then why won't you stop?" he demanded. "Because stopping is a luxury," she said bitterly, "and I don't have it." The director cleared his throat. "If this is personal—" "It is," Rose cut in, "and it stays." She turned back to Bruno, lowering her voice. "You promised to trust me." "And you promised to be honest," he replied. "This isn't honesty. This is self-destruction dressed up as professionalism." The word hit her like a slap. She laughed, sharp and dangerous. "Careful," she said. "That sounds a lot like control." Bruno stiffened. "Don't twist this." "Then don't corner me," she fired back. "Not here. Not like this." The director raised his hands. "We'll take 10. As people scattered, Rose walked away, fast, heart racing, vision blurring. She pushed through a side door into a narrow corridor that smelled of dust and old cables, pressing her back against the wall as if it might hold her upright. Footsteps followed. "Rose," Bruno said. "Don't," she warned. He stopped a few feet away. "You're spiraling." She let her head fall back, staring at the ceiling. You ever notice how everyone uses that word when a woman finally says she's not okay? His silence told her she'd hit something true. "I'm tired of being brave," she continued, voice cracking. "I'm tired of being inspirational. I just want to exist without proving I deserve this." Bruno's voice softened. "You don't have to prove anything to me." "Then why does it feel like I'm constantly failing you?" He stepped closer. "Because you won't let yourself rest." She looked at him then, really looked at him, and the anger drained into something raw and shaking. "If I rest," she whispered, "I'm afraid I won't be wanted anymore." The confession hung between them, fragile and exposed. Bruno's eyes darkened with emotion. "That's not love," he said quietly. "That's fear." Before she could respond, his phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen and froze. "What?" Rose asked, dread creeping in. "They leaked something," he said slowly. "A draft statement, saying you're considering stepping back indefinitely." Rose's breath left her lungs. "I never said that." "I know." Her phone buzzed next. Then again, messages flooding in. Panic surged through her. "They're deciding for me," she said, voice shaking. "They're turning my silence into surrender." Bruno clenched his jaw. This just became a war. She looked at him, eyes wide, fear and fury colliding. "If I fight this publicly," she said, "there's no going back." He didn't hesitate. "Then don't go back." The words stunned her. "What?" she whispered. "You don't owe them the version of you that's killing you," Bruno said. If you speak now, it will be messy. They'll call you dramatic, difficult, ungrateful. And you, she asked, what will they call you? He met her gaze steadily. The man who stood beside you. Her chest tightened, emotions surging too fast to contain. This could ruin us. It could save you, he replied. She stepped closer, hands trembling, resting her forehead against his chest the way she had that first night. I don't know if I'm strong enough. Bruno wrapped his arms around her, holding her like something precious and breakable. You don't have to be strong, he murmured. Just be honest. Outside the corridor, the world waited, hungry, watching, ready to tear them apart or elevate them into something dangerous and unforgettable. Rose closed her eyes and made a decision that would change everything. The press room smelled like hot lights and tension, the kind that clung to skin and refused to let go, and Rose could feel it tightening around her chest as she stepped up to the podium. Cameras clicked immediately, sharp and relentless. Murmurs rippled through the room when they saw her face, bare, no stage makeup, no costume armor, just her. Bruno stood a few steps behind her, close enough that she could sense him without turning around. He wasn't smiling. He wasn't hiding. He looked exactly like a man who had decided not to run. Rose gripped the edge of the podium. For a heartbeat, doubt screamed inside her, louder than any arena she had ever faced. Then she spoke. I'm not here to apologize, she said, her voice steady despite the storm inside her. And I'm not here to reassure anyone that I'll keep sacrificing myself to meet an image you're comfortable with. A sharp intake of breath spread across the room. A reporter raised a hand. Are you confirming rumors that you're stepping back from your tour indefinitely? Rose shook her head slowly. I'm confirming that I refuse to disappear quietly just to make this easier for you to digest. Whispers exploded. Another voice cut in, louder, aggressive. Is this decision influenced by your relationship? Eyes flicked toward Bruno like knives. Rose's gaze hardened. The fact that you think support is manipulation says more about you than it does about him. Bruno didn't move, but something fierce flashed across his face. Let be clear, Rose continued. I am exhausted. I have been for a long time, and pretending otherwise nearly broke me. If honesty makes me controversial, then so be it. A journalist leaned forward. Are you saying the industry pushed you to this point? Rose paused. The silence was deliberate, heavy. I'm saying the industry thrives on silence, she replied, and I'm done feeding it. The room erupted in questions, voices overlapping, urgency spiking. Are you canceling shows? Will sponsors pull out? Is this a breakdown? Bruno stepped forward then, his voice calm but unyielding. This isn't a breakdown, he said. It's a boundary. The backlash was immediate and brutal. By nightfall, the internet was on fire. Half the world praised Rose's courage. The other half tore her apart. Commentators dissected her words, her tone, her relationship, her right to be tired. Sponsors released vague statements. One dropped out entirely. Rose watched it unfold from the hotel room, legs pulled to her chest, the glow of her phone painting her face in pale light. What if they never forgive me? She asked quietly. Bruno sat beside her, close but not crowding. What if you finally forgive yourself? She looked at him, eyes glassy. What if this costs everything? He met her gaze without flinching. Then we'll rebuild from what's real. Days passed like that, raw, uncertain, terrifying. Meetings, calls, silence from people who once couldn't stop praising her. Then, slowly, something unexpected happened. Fans began sharing their own stories of burnout, of pressure, of being told to smile through pain. The narrative shifted, not neatly, not cleanly, but undeniably. Rose stood on a smaller stage weeks later. No massive screens, no roaring spectacle. Just a microphone, a quiet room, and a different kind of audience. She sang differently now, softer, truer. Bruno watched from the side, heart full and aching, knowing this version of her was not weaker, but braver than ever. That night, A major news outlet closed their broadcast with words that echoed far beyond the screen. Tonight, the story isn't about a canceled show or a controversial statement. It's about an artist who chose truth over perfection, rest over ruin, and humanity over silence. Love did not distract her from her career. It stood beside her when she was too tired to stand alone. And perhaps, in that choice, a new definition of strength has just taken the stage.